welcome back to another stream. We are playing Okami, and I have Legend Games with me today.
Yo.
Back for another stream for Okami. Okay.
Time to run it back. My audio good?
Yeah.
Alright.
Now I gotta follow the tracker. Cause this is what we delayed last time because we just hit the time amount.
How she even managed to pull that in?
But yeah.
Oh. Sorry, it gets a little confusing.
I get it. A lot. The art style is a specific way, so the kids especially can be a bit odd. But just know one thing: the girls usually have like a very fancy style or a very like cutesy look, whereas the boys could care less. Like this kid has like a friggin' rabbit pelt on their head, so.
Yeah, I was gonna say because the rabbit hat he had.
Yeah. I keep hitting the wrong button.
Fish.
And now we gotta deal with the most frustrating fish ever.
What kind of fish is that?
Ah.
Oh, that one.
Yes. Especially with the fact that I don't know those buttons. You wanna know why I don't know those buttons? Because I have a frickin' Xbox controller that this thing's being adapted to. So I don't have the luxury of getting to know what those buttons are, I just have to guess. There we go. That wasn't as bad as the last time I tried catching this thing.
Thinks it works better now.
Yeah. Did you know I used to play this entire game for the first time I played through this with a keyboard? And there was a point where I had to buy the controller because I couldn't do a certain portion of the game. I literally got soft locked thanks to my keyboard. Oh, for fuck's sake. What now? Of course it starts now.
What?
Oh, once again we're on tornado watch. I guess I'm going to be pulling up the weather on my phone then.
Hopefully it ain't not too much serious.
Hopefully. But that also makes me concerned about the weather. I'm currently searching through a bunch of the active tornadoes. A lot of them are expired right now. Most recent one's like SD. I have no idea what state that's connected to. Oh, South Dakota, okay. Oh, is that why we're on tornado watch? Because we're kind of close to it? I see, okay, because it's kind of angling towards where we are. Got it. So from what I can tell, there's not going to be any major storms in our area hitting our location, just some very light rain. But I'm not seeing any major things coming our direction right now, but it says until like 7 p.m., so I assume a big old storm is going to hit somewhere around that time. So at least for the couple hours we're streaming, we should be fine.
Hopefully the power doesn't get cut off.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I'd be able to tell whether that is going to be the case, but even if it does, I mean, we tried. And here's another ability. Ah! It's not like I'm not holding it, it's just, for some reason, letting go. Luckily, it's pretty relaxed as where I put these stars.
Like, not too hard. So fine.
Yeah. By the way, if I had not seen, some videos about some of the cooking styles, I would have never understood this. For, like, this culture. Like, I would have not understood the whole making the dough thing. Because I would have been very confused. But because I've watched a lot involving, like, Japanese culture, like Japanese and Chinese based culture. I understand what that is. And if I remember correctly, I think one of the methods for that is like mochi.
Yeah, I heard that they do that.
Okay, I see why we're on a tornado warning. It's the stuff like northeast of us, like not northeast, northwest. Like far northwest, like about 20 like 10 like maybe 10 20 counties over or something. It's pretty far, but it's still in Kansas. Kansas, like at the border of Kansas and another state. I hope the people in that storm are doing all right.
Yeah, hopefully they're safe.
But because we're nearby it, that's the reason why it's giving me a storm warning. Yeah, there's one for every one of these critters, but there's also there's some baby versions in the game Okami. So there's some new ones and then there's some baby ones of some of these guys. It's really cute. I also love how depending on the time of day, you can actually like see the actual like spirits constellations in the sky.
That's where these dogs go up in the are stuck in like random locations.
Yeah. I love my powerful weapons.
Makes it much easier.
Yeah, especially since this is a second playthrough, it makes it so much easier to just mow through everything. Nope, they can't. Luckily, I'm at least somewhat familiar with the way the bosses work again. I also love when you bark if you're like when you're typically walking around, you don't have like a menu or anything. And even when you stay still, it doesn't pop up, but I like if you just sit still and then bark, it brings up like everything. Or when you bark at all, to be fair, which I find kind of cool. Okay. Let's see. Since we have the springs unlocked, I think this is one. Yeah. Okay. No, wrong. I wasn't anticipating falling in. Well. You wanna know the funniest thing about my first time playing through this stuff?
Yeah.
I didn't actually use the mermaid coins. I walked everywhere I went. As in, like, trekked across the entirety of the map. I didn't really use them because I kept forgetting about them.
Are they really that forgetful?
Yes, because look, when you see this stuff, you don't really consider it because the thing is they're only in select spots. So as you're adventuring, you're also doing like side quests and stuff, you know?
Sense.
So you just kind of forget about them. The game doesn't like
They don't
tell
tell you.
they don't actively tell you to use them. That's the thing. They don't like, hey, go use the mermaid pool to go teleport to here. It'd be easier. It's like, no. This game does not hold your hand. That's what I love about it because it makes you play how you want, but at the same time, it's like,
You gotta figure stuff out. You're on your own.
yep. Which is actually what I like about games, at least. As long as they give you enough hand holding to where you can manage on your own, for the most part, sure. Because this game at least holds your hand enough to where they're like, hey, go here. But they don't tell you how, they're just like, go to this specific location because there's such and such trouble here. Otherwise, they're just kind of like, you're on your own. Good luck. Sorry, I'm like consistently keeping track of that weather.
It should be fine. It's just in case.
Yeah, nothing seems to be headed far away at all. Like, see, we're already like about 7-ish hours into this particular playthrough. And sure, we've gotten kind of far. This is, I know for a fact, this is not even the halfway point. You want to know why? Because we haven't slain the multi-headed serpent yet. That is when the halfway point hits.
He's...
We're still, this game, whenever I explain the way it works, I explain it works kind of like how Twilight Princess's boss setup works. Because the way Twilight Princess's boss setup works, essentially, the way their boss setup works is like they have one boss, second boss, third boss, you're getting the fused shadow helm pieces. Then, after like a period after that, you go through a final boss, and then you figure out the mirror's broken. So then you have to go through 3 more temples to get the mirrors. That's not even counting the amount of side quests you have to do in between, which is kind of like how this game works sometimes. And then after you get that, then you got another dungeon, and then you got the final dungeon. So this game kind of works like that, because the halfway point is once we defeat the multi-headed serpent. This whole, like, 8 orbs stuff kind of gives me, like, 7 Sage vibes from Ocarina of Time.
To be honest, I have never played any Zelda games before.
There's a lot of vibes that this game gives me that kind of relate. Yeah, so now we have the orbs. Because we're a god. And the power of these orbs have deemed us better fit to fight the boss than, you know, the NPC. Crimson Helm is a bit of a frustrating boss, but not an impossible one. The one that I think I disliked the most, it definitely had to been, oh, what was his name? It was this, like, sickness-based enemy that comes later. I can't remember the name, but I know that's gonna be an enemy we're gonna need to get rid of before we can get access to, like, the last of the artifacts. Because this particular run, funnily enough, stemmed from the fact that these are the only artifacts I have, and even then, in my first playthrough, I didn't even have these. Because I never cared to get artifacts, because I never paid attention to it. Because of that, someone who had apparently played, I think, Okami for, I think it was like 20 years, was kind of salty. to put it lightly. So this whole playthrough is literally anyway, I'm doing this run solely so I can collect all the artifacts that I can. But the only way I can do that is unlocking the story to a certain point. Now, I will actually, once I get the story to that point, I will actually do research on all the artifacts I can collect by buying them with the fangs. Because the thing is, if you see off to the right, there's these little fang-looking things. Those are what I'm using to get the actual artifacts. Because monster fangs are how you get them. I am going to collect every single artifact that I can with those. And I will actually do research to make sure I'm collecting all of them. Anyway. I thought the orbs didn't react at all up until that point. Like, they could have opened that door at any point, but they actually had to listen to the spirit of this guy. Also, I know they never specifically, mention it, but the fact that this guy doesn't specify that, Ami is a wolf. Obviously, he's blind, so he's using, like a third eye type of deal. But the fact that Ami is still picked up as, like, a fair maiden and not, like, a celestial being is intriguing to me. I'm not sure if it's just because Ami doesn't have all of her powers yet, or if it's because of, like, other things.
Probably might be the first option.
Still interesting. Yeah, so from what I can tell, the storm is gonna completely go past us anyway.
That's good.
Yeah. Basically, all of the different bosses here essentially came to be when the serpent at max power originally died. So in other words, when the eight-headed serpent was defeated 100 years ago, all these bosses came to life, but were sealed away, but recently have, like, grown in power, come back, stuff like that. And that's because somebody removed the seal on the 8-headed serpent.
Who did that?
For lore reasons, I'm not mentioning it because it will actually get revealed.
That was fast.
Yeah! Like I said, powerful weapons.
Took like what, 4 hits?
It took one hit, but it took one hit to stun it to where it could actually do damage. Yeah, I forget buttons. There we go. But it actually took 2 hits to actually kill it. It took an additional 2 to like do the final 2 hits, really. Which are like extra damage hits. Which you typically do for like like bonus points to get more money. Fun fact, this whole area right here, this whole temple reminds me of the way the forest temple in Twilight Princess works. Because this is literally how they do it with the platform stuff. They have wind-based platform stuff all over the place.
So wait, like, so it moves based on the like direction of the wind.
Yeah. I just like checking around the thing just in case. Sometimes they'll hide stuff directly behind a building for whatever reason. Okay, I didn't realize you could kind of push through that. I've always jumped over it. Interesting that you can just kind of push through that. Okay. Is there anything else besides this that I can't touch yet? Nope. Okay. Camera, stop fighting me. Again, I'm grateful there's no fall damage. I am surprised that worked. That was the most crappy version of the bomb I could have done.
But yeah, it still works.
Right.
It's probably use the explosion to boost you up.
Yeah, 2 hits. This thing takes 2 hits. It just gave me 2 fangs. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, 2 hits. I don't even have power boosters. And by the way, yes, this is what I mean by the game does not give it, like, the game does not hold your hand. The game did not tell me that the door was locked. It made it obvious because that's typically what you're shown. It did not tell me where the key was. There is no compass stuff, meaning it won't tell you jack shit. So you just have to do everything on your own.
Did the cloud just disconnect out of nowhere?
Not for me.
Well, I heard that it just disconnected and reconnected.
I didn't hear that.
It
Might be your side then.
strange.
Yeah. But I didn't hear that from my side, so. Hi, bird. Hopper, I don't need you going a million miles a minute. I just don't want you to fall off.
Because you're gonna have to go all the way back up again.
Yep. Luckily, the game is pretty good about where to put its invisible barriers to, like, keep you from falling off for the most part. Especially with, like, smaller platforms like this. Because it gives you, like, this buffer barrier, essentially. Which, like, gives you a certain allotted amount of time before it'll allow you to go over. Which allows you to make the corrections you need. Yeah, so that's essentially the game teaching you how the wind stuff works. It's very damn clever about how it does it, too. I used to think these constellations were a way to tell how far in the game you were. Oh, how naive I was back then. Also, this is my favorite spirit. One of my favorites, at least. Partly because it's a horse.
For some reason, it looks like one of those carousel horses.
I think that's kind of the point to a degree. But I think it's also supposed to be like one of the soldier horses? Like a... I don't actually know what type of legend this horse is based off of. Carousel sure is like a thing, but I think it's based on something specific. Because all of these spirits, to some degree, are like based on different legends. Legends or like specific connections, things like that. There we go. Yay, the equivalent of a heart piece. Now I got more health. Sun fragments are this game's heart pieces. Where if you collect enough, you get a new health piece.
What's a max?
What you see on screen. It's basically 2 full rows of... Well, I have to deal with this cutscene now. Damn it. But it's like you see top left, it's like I need like 4 more before it maxes out, I think.
Like 20 in total.
Yeah. I had to actually count it just to be sure, because sometimes games can, you know...
Yeah, I had to do the same too.
Like sometimes games can do like 6 at a time instead of 5 or something. It's weird.
Still feel a little sleepy.
A little. It just takes my body longer to fully wake up than most.
Yeah.
You wanna know the funniest thing about that particular symbol? I never realized you could do all the wind stuff in every direction. You just had to base it on the symbol. So I never figured that out. I always had to tilt my screen. You know, like with that, I would always have to tilt my screen like this. And then I just kept doing this. Because the wind would go in this direction. I did that for the entirety of the game. Because I never registered because again, the game doesn't tell you this. It doesn't tell you you can use all of the symbols. You just assume the last one by default is what you're meant to use. You just assume that the entire thing is just like, you know, like a sequence that you do, that you can only do once. You don't register that you can do it to the entire time. I have so many of these. These, like, infinite ink stuff. But you would be surprised as to how useful this stuff actually is when you get to endgame. Because the like the final boss of the entire game, has like an ability that can remove all of your ink. Which, if you lose all of your ink, you also lose your weapon. Yeah, so it comes in handy. That's that. Did I get all that stuff there? Okay. Actually going to back down here. Get this one real quick. There we go.
I think you would have made it in time.
I don't trust it. I never do. It actually pays attention to your speed, because I've tried that before and it actually falls out from under right at the last second. At least when I've done it before. Now, whenever you hear this music, that's when you know you're in a boss room. Because this music only pops up when you're in boss rooms. Oh. I love how simple the names are, but they also work really well.
It kind of remind me of Ganondorf.
Fun fact, he hits like a tank like Ganondorf would, too.
Oh god.
Yeah. He hits like a tank. At least if you're not careful. First time playing through this, I died to this guy a few times just because I was struggling. Because I hadn't upgraded my weapons good enough or my health.
At least you're prepared now.
Yeah, definitely. I know I have way more power now than I did then, and plenty more health. I'm trying to remember how this guy works. I think I have to keep hitting his armor to like a certain... There we go! Those types of bot... I'm sorry! That only took 5 hits!
Your audio caught off.
5 hits! That took 5 hits! That literally just took 5 hits! I have no idea what cur means, but I would assume it's some sort of a demon. Like a term for like demon or something.
You can search it up later.
Have to be quick with this sequence. Otherwise I'd look it up right now. Because if I don't complete this in one go, I have to restart the entire thing. Also, the fact that his sword is wood.
He's like, you know, if it works, it works. He doesn't even know.
I love how the demon is standing there. It's like it's they're just like, what the hell is going on? Like, the demon literally sat there for that.
Like, he just did not do anything and just let it happen.
I mean, in all fairness, if a mortal was acting like a lunatic, I think I'd be standing there being like, what the fuck is going on?
Honestly, I'm with you on that part.
Like, first off, I got demolished by this god, and then this mortal is taking out the higher power things I just summoned in. Like, the heck? I mean, bud, you have a god directly behind you that's been helping you out.
Yeah, he just doesn't really know it.
He doesn't register it because the different gods and they're all referred to as gods regardless of gender in this game. Like, even though Amaterasu's female, she's referred to as the god of the sun. Regardless, they're all disguised as animals, and most people can't see the markings. Like the red markings in the weapons, because those are spiritual based. So if there's someone who actually can see them, it's special.
Telling him about his car warranty.
If only that were the case.
If he'd reach about that.
Oh, no, I just need to see somebody make an animation of that. That would be absolutely hilarious.
Oh, that'd be funny.
And the fact that cars don't exist in this world, so it would confuse the character even more.
Which makes it a lot more better.
But to explain, to explain a few things why that whole sequence happened, that guy is the reason the eight-headed serpent woke up.
Yeah?
He is a descendant of the guy who sealed said serpent away in the first place, but he never believed the legends. So he decided to fuck around and find out and go to the ancient shrine when the guardian of said shrine was in the city doing some business, you know, like the once a year thing the poor guy's got to do. And and yeah, he decided to pull the sword that was holding the seal because he didn't believe the legend, so he didn't see why it would be a bad thing. He fucked around and found out, released the
Yeah,
being, and now all this stuff's been happening.
yeah, he fucked around too much and he found out real too soon.
Mm-hmm. And now said serpent is chasing him around because because he broke the seal, he can essentially make a deal with said eight-headed demon. to bring darkness upon the world and unleash the beast's full power. That's the reason why the serpent keeps bothering him. Because he has to utter a certain phrase of words to unleash the demon's full power. But the guy, obviously realizing his mistake, doesn't want to do that. So that's why he keeps racing off.